G'day trendsetters, today I'm coming to you from the headquarters of Calfee Design in La Selva Beach, California.
Hi, welcome to Calfee Design. My name is Rich and I'm looking forward to showing you what we do under this roof. This is where we have all of our bikes. Most of them right now are going out to Sea Otter, which we're very excited about. We have tandems in here, we have our gravel products, we have a bunch of Boomers bikes, which are actually made in Africa. These were bikes that Craig, when he went to Africa in the 90s, he taught the villagers there how to build their own bamboo bikes. And so one of them actually created his own business, and now we're helping him get off the ground. So really exciting stuff. I'd like to kind of start by showing you where everything begins with the process. We're going to go to the machine shop first, and then we'll head out from there. Watch your step through here because there's stuff everywhere. So welcome to the machine shop. In here, this is where we mill all of our head tubes. We mill our bottom brackets. Everything starts right here. So when we get an order, we receive it. I figure out exactly what head tube length the customer is going to need. I send the order into here, and these gentlemen start the entire process. It's great to see a product start from its raw materials and build all the way up to a complete bicycle. From here, I will show you, we're going to head into what we call single bike land. Watch your step. There's all sorts of crazy stuff everywhere. So welcome to single bike land. For our single bikes, we lay everything up on a table. So what happens is we have molds for every single size and every single geometry, unless you're going custom. So if you're going a stock geometry, they all go on this table right here. We have our Tetra, we have our Dragonflies, we have our Lunas, and we have our Mantas. I'd like to show you some things here. The Dragonfly is our flagship model. What we do is we build the lug first using 6K and 12K carbon. It then gets sculpted over and over and over again. There's a high compression mold that it goes under. Then eventually what we do is we come back in and we glue the tubes inside of the lug. Our Tetra, on the other hand, that is a one-piece layup. So what we do with the Tetra is, rather than building the lug first, this is a bottom bracket mold here. We'll lay the bottom bracket, for example, up on the table. We use a series of 3K, 12K, and other kinds of carbon. We do a high compression mold of the lug directly onto the tube, and you get what is essentially what we call a one layup design. That's what makes the Tetra so incredibly strong. So it's actually a tougher frame than the Dragonfly, but the Dragonfly is a lighter, stiffer frame because we use boron fiber. Up here we have our 44 molds, our Manta molds. We use 3D printed molds for our 44 models. So unlike the classic that uses a metal mold, these allow us to change geometry much, much quicker because we can just build a new 3D mold. Really exciting stuff. Tandem land is right here. The process, we have a Dragonfly tandem being cleaned up right now. And the way we do tandems is all by hand. We have these tables right here with countless tools on them. What we do is we take the tubes and we lay them all out by hand right onto this table. We use a drawing that Craig Calfee actually draws himself. And these gentlemen here, these artisans really, take each tube and they lay it up, they glue it together, and then eventually they go back and wrap it. I want you to observe this table. This is extremely heavy. We have a concrete slab in this table. Because everything is done by hand and it gets glued by hand, we don't want anyone coming up and tapping the table even by accident. What that will do is that will shift the geometry even by millimeters and completely destroy whatever geometry we had in there. So this is very important, as you can see. Don't touch everywhere. Once a frame is laid up on here, it's set to go. What we then do, in order to get the lugs on the tandems, we take carbon fiber roving. This is what we call tow. This is 50K tow. So what that means is at the end of every one of these strands is 50,000 fibers of carbon fiber. It's essentially very, very fine carbon fiber hair. We douse this in resin, and then we begin an extremely intricate process of wrapping the lugs. Really incredible. For our Dragonfly tandems, we have a new process whereby we sculpt the lugs just like we do on our single frames. This process takes hours and hours and hours. You will be hard pressed to find another bike out there that has this much hands-on, this much meticulous care in the process. Everything is done by hand, start to finish. So really incredible. It's nice to see this one coming out of production. I'm glad you were able to see it because we don't always have things in the stand. Let's continue this way. Again, watch your step. We have electric motorcycles, bamboo bikes hanging above your head. We have projects absolutely everywhere. To my left is our paint booth, which we'll go into in a little while. Over here, we have our quality control section. This is Mario. He's an absolutely essential element to our team. He quality controls every single frame, new frame, bamboo frame, repair frame, everything that comes out of the process. Without Mario, we wouldn't have the beautiful frames that we have right now. So you can see that there's a big difference between a finished frame as compared to some of the rough things that you saw in production. This is after hours of sanding and sculpting and making sure everything is up to par, nice and smooth. And then Mario's gonna QC everything, check every diameter, make sure it's good to go. For those of you who know Calfee well, we have a booming carbon repair business. One of the things we do is that we believe that carbon can be sustainable. It doesn't need to go into a landfill. We can take your frame, repair it. We've been doing this for years and years. We've repaired over 20,000 frames and kept them out of landfills. So if you ever have someone who you know or yourself who have the unfortunate event of crashing your bike or cracking your bike, send us an email. Let's get you back on it. Let's not get another frame into a landfill. Let's keep you riding, keep the frames going. All right, John, I'd like to take you into the finishing room here. So before it goes to Mario in quality control, this is where most of the magic happens. It's a little dirty in here, and that's okay. Carbon is an incredible material, and it takes a lot of sanding and sculpting. Over here we have Valverde, who's one of our top technicians. We have Juan, who's also one of our top technicians. This is very exciting to see. This Tetra just came out of the mold. And as you can see, not nearly as pretty as when it's finished. But this is all part of the process. When a Tetra comes out of the mold, this is how it looks. And as we can see, Valverde has already started to shave away and clean up all of the lugs. These lugs looked exactly like the bottom bracket just yesterday. So he's working hard to sculpt this. We have things lined off to make sure it's all done perfectly. You don't want to nick any of the carbon tubes, so these guys know what they're doing. Again, real artisan work here. Each frame takes about 40 hours of labor from start to finish to complete. So really exciting to see how it went from head tubes, single tubes, laying up, to now we're getting a completed product. Right over here is where we have our carbon fiber. As we told you, we use a series of different carbon fibers, 12K, 6K, 3K. 3K is what we use for most repair jobs because it's the easiest to form, it's the most malleable. The 6K and 12K carbon fiber is extremely high modulus. We use this in our Dragonflies and other very, very high performance products. It really depends on the application. Carbon is one of those things that you have to know how it's being applied. So it's a lot of sculpting, it's a lot of working, and when it's done correctly, it can last forever. So that's what we're here for. Welcome to the paint booth. In here is where we paint all of our repair frames, our new frames. We do outsource some paint work, especially when we're feeling very inundated. We use all PPG paints. That's automotive grade paint. So everything you see on your car is usually PPG paints. They're all American sourced, highest quality you can get. We actually have the spray booth behind these curtains. We try to stay out of there as much as possible because this is what we call a clean room. A clean room is a place where we basically try to keep as much dust and dirt and debris out of here. A single speck of dust can destroy an entire paint job. So it's really important that we keep it all clean. The guns have to be cleaned after every single application, but we'd like to kind of illustrate the amount of work we go through to make a beautiful finished product. We do all sorts of things. We have our stock color palette. We can also do custom mixes. What's really difficult is making sure that we can mix colors for all of the repair frames that come in because there's so many different colors out there. So you have to have a good eye, know what you're doing.
Hey, Patrick with Calfee. Just here to show you some bamboo stuff we got going on. So we procure our bamboo from Japan. It's one of the oldest growers out there. And Craig likes to take a trip out there, so he actually hand selects all of these himself, which is pretty cool. We also have a local place we get other species from, which is Bamboo Giant here in Freedom, California. Awesome stuff. And then also the coolest part about this is we line it with carbon. So a couple layers of 3K or 6K depending, right? We bore out the inside to give it a nice smooth surface. That way we can lay that carbon properly. And obviously a cured piece of bamboo is what we start with to make sure that the process is started on the right path. And what the coolest part about that is it lightens up the bamboo and it also strengthens it. So creates more of a lateral stiffness that you can have. And that way our bamboo bikes are that just more high quality, ride that much more better. Here we are, next level of shred here, mixed surface bike, flat bar oriented. Same bamboo that we were just talking about. So you have carbon lined bamboo that have been bored out, cars properly cured from that beginning state. All of this stuff was procured in Japan as well. And then we mix it with our carbon chainstays and seat stays. These are a newer design that we're using on a lot of bikes, like our mountain bike, our gravel bikes, and solid carbon. So just transferring awesomeness to your ride.
Let's go upstairs to the museum. So that bike right here, this carbon fiber bike, this was Craig's first bike he ever built. When he crashed his Schwinn Varsity and broke it, he needed to find a way to get to work and be sustainable. He was working for an Olympic rowing company that worked with carbon fibers, that built carbon fiber oars, and he looked at it and said, you know, I think I could build a bike out of that. So this is the first bike he ever built to replace his Schwinn Varsity. After that, his friend said, hey, maybe you could build me a bike. Like, how about you build me a bike? And pretty soon before he knew it, he had his first bicycle business. Over to the left here was his first bamboo bike he ever built. It was one of those that his dog Luna, who was a pit bull, was looking for a stick that she wouldn't destroy. And so he found bamboo. And as she's sitting there gnawing on this piece of bamboo, he looked and said, maybe I could build a bike out of that. Lo and behold, wrapping some carbon fiber against the bamboo tubes, he had his first bamboo bike. Fast forward now a few years, when a man walks into Craig's workshop and says, hi, I'm Greg LeMond's dad. I would like you to build us a set of team bikes. This was Chris Capel's 1991 Team Z race bike. We have a picture below of Greg LeMond on his edition. This is what got Calfee started. And to this day, we continue to build bikes kind of in the legacy of being raced in the Tour de France. Really what Greg LeMond was looking for is a bike that he could crash and get back up and keep riding. As we see in the tours today in the races, many times bikes can fall to pieces and the guys are waiting for new bikes. Later, Greg came to Craig and says, you know, I really like this bike, but can you make it lighter? That's when the Dragonfly was born. So we've continued to work on our processes, get better and better carbon fiber, but it's all in the same DNA of what we've been doing for years, which is building bikes that last a lifetime. We still get bikes after 20 or 30 years. They come back to us for fresh paint jobs, come in for head tube remolds, everything. We have lots of cool different bikes around here. Bamboo cargo bike, another one here. We'll walk you in through the kitchen. Like to show you some custom bikes. We have an original Tetra Custom tri-bike, believe it or not. This used to have aero bars on it. The original bike that Craig made years and years ago was what he called a Sapphire. So back in the day before Calfee was Calfee, he originally called it carbon frames. And the Sapphire was his original model. And it could be built as a touring bike, it could be built as a race bike. The geometries just weren't as cut and dry as they are nowadays. So you could do everything you wanted, for the most part, with a single frame. Years ago for the 2013 NAB show, Craig built this Douglas fir bike. And we decided to put a lefty on it, because as if building a Douglas fir bike isn't strange enough, why not add a lefty? Over here, this is where Craig lays up all the custom geometries, all the tandem geometries. He literally does everything by hand. This is a life-size drawing that translates to what we were showing you earlier in the tandem table. This is a large, medium mountain bike tandem drawing that he's laying out right now. And he's using compasses, protractors. He lays it all out by hand and pencil. So really, really hands-on work. And it's great to know that Craig Calfee is still in it and still working on pretty much every single frame.
Hi, I'm Craig Calfee from Calfee Design. Want to show you some bikes. We've got a adventure bike here, our Tetra. This one's got a 3-color fade going on here, 3 different points. A really great campy chorus kit on there. And this is one of our best sellers. It's our classic that's been in production since the late 80s. This is our also a Tetra Adventure. And it's set up with, looks like an e-car kit on this one, yep. And the whiskey kit. Over here is our Bamboo Adventure. This is a black bamboo bike with our carbon stays on the rear. This one normally runs bigger tires, but for this show we've got them on just the 45 millimeter tires. And we've been doing bamboo since 1995, and this is our latest one with, this is Madake bamboo from Japan. And I actually brought this bamboo on the airplane. This is square bamboo in the boom tube here, which is molded as they grow it. I find that fascinating. And working with bamboo for a long time, it's really cool to see the shaped bamboo. We've been doing the carbon fiber tandems for 20 some odd years now, and the Blue Pearl is always a winner. It looks great in the sun. I hope you get a good shot of that. And this one's got our cage here, our cage bracket, which has been requested a lot by stokers to bring that third bottle up. And here's another bamboo bike. This one's actually just a ladies' city bike, but we do a gravel version of this. We bring it in from Ghana. I went over to Ghana back in 2009 and taught people how to make bamboo bikes there for both riding and for export. So they actually export quite a lot into Germany, and we're the first, we've got the first shipment coming into the United States. So these are $1,500 to $2,000 bamboo bikes with really good parts on them. And I'm really impressed with how well they've done to get a bike at this price point that still rides great and is really robust. We've been putting a lot of our electric assist kits on these as well.
Thank you so much for visiting us today at Calfee Design. We hope you enjoyed it. Give us a call anytime, and we're happy to take care of your needs.
Thanks, Rich. I really appreciate your time today, folks. Don't forget to visit calfeedesign.com.
calfeedesign.com. Thank you so much. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and give us a call.